And so, what strategies are these groups currently using to exploit the current crisis, and how have they weaponized COVID-19?
All right, so yeah, so they're trying to use this time of uncertainty and anxiety among Americans to try to create panic and to try to undermine civil society and get other people to see their point of view. And so some people are pushed into plotting or carrying out acts of violence. We've actually had, a hate crime attack at a Walmart store where a man went in and stabbed three Chinese people because he thought that they were to blame for the coronavirus. We had a engineer out in California that purposely derailed a train that he felt was, part of a government conspiracy, taking medical supplies to one of the U.S. Navy ships off the coast of Los Angeles to provide aid and help. He thought it was part of a government buildup of government presence in their community, and that it was going to lead to some sort of martial law or invasion of their rights. So we actually have some violent attacks that have occurred, and this guy that had plotted the attack on the hospital as well as a mosque to try to destabilize his community and get people to start thinking about these issues from the extremist perspective.
Right. And you've said how anti-government they are, sort of plotting attacks at this time. Is this a way for these extremist organizations to completely accelerate the collapse of the system so that they can begin a new, a society that's based on racial purity in their perspective?
Right. So that's their aim and their goals. From a hate group perspective, they want to excite a race war. Trying to pin ethnicities against each other and blame each other for this crisis. From an anti-government perspective, they want to destabilize the government. They want to, exploit this crisis when our first responders and police and everyone's kind of distracted and trying to help the victims of this coronavirus. These extremists feel that they can exploit this and be able to operate unimpeded and undetected. And fortunately, the FBI is keeping track of some of these people that are plotting these violent attacks.
Sure. So, what are you most concerned about in the coming days when it comes to extremist activity, and how can communities protect themselves at this time?
Yeah, so I already mentioned one concern, and that is the fact that our first responders are already being overworked and focused on this coronavirus crisis. There's only a limited amount of law enforcement out there. And so if they're too busy doing first responder type work, they have less time to do, enforcement and detection of, violent activity type work. And also the fact that many of our first responders are being exposed to this virus and becoming susceptible and having to have downtime to recover from it or, have complications from it. And so we have less resources on the streets to devote to these types of things. So those are my two concerns. I think our law enforcement is doing the best job they can at trying to handle all of the multiple responsibilities they have. But like I said, the resources are limited, and the coronavirus crisis is taking some of those attention away from other types of activities where they have to focus on, helping victims.